Hi everyone, I'm back, and this time with a film. We had the computer game reviews, then the book reviews. Now back with my bread and butter, and today we're looking at the film Creed 2. So we're going to do my usual thing, which is, should you go see it? And then we'll talk a little bit about the film, and then we'll have a break for spoilers. So, Creed 2, should you go see it? Well, I loved Creed 1 and I've seen every Rocky film. So if you're in that category, of course you're going to go see Creed 2. It's got probably who I think is going to be the best and greatest superstar of the next generation in Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, and great cast. And look, it's a boxing film. I'm going to talk about that a bit later because that brings so much baggage that you're either into that trope of the boxing film or you're not. But I think it is worth seeing. However, if you've never seen a Rocky film and you weren't attracted to seeing Creed, don't go see Creed 2. A, it's a sequel, but B, it's obviously not your cup of tea. I saw it in the theater. I thought it was a well-made film, so worthy of the theater. But again, look, if this isn't if you're instantly not thinking, I want to go and see what happens when Donnie Creed meets Viktor Drago, son of Ivan Drago, then, probably maybe late night TV. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, let's discuss the film, and most of my discussion will be in spoilers, but we'll just cover a few very quick things. Number one is no Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler directed Creed 1, and if you know that name, hottest new director in Hollywood because he did a little film called Black Panther. And he is a real stylist, and that is obviously missing in this film. They brought in a kind of journeyman director. I'm going to have to check his name. Stephen Capel Jr. I'd never seen any of his work. A lot of work on TV. It's not like he does a bad job. In fact, some of the choreography and the boxing is quite good. But whenever there's a stylistic flourish, it seems a bit forced, and it would be pretty horrible to have to follow Coogler. The cast is all the people that you loved in Creed 1. So Tessa Thompson is back as Bianca. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, Sly Stallone as a character you might have heard of called Rocky, and all the other supporting cast. So the only new two people really are Dolph Lundgren comes back as Ivan Drago, and his son is Viktor Drago, and he's played by a guy I've never seen before. I don't know if he's an actor or like a wrestler or an athlete of some sort, and his name is Florian Munteanu. So maybe it's Italian, I'm not quite sure, and he's a beast of if you see the trailer, and he looks legitimately scary. So I'm going to move on into spoilers in a second. This film is, I'm not going to talk about the plot because I predicted every single thing which happens in this film within about 90 seconds of sitting down. And I don't think that's a great achievement. I think anyone who's seen a boxing film, a Rocky film, they basically reinvent everything. And it has got that sequelitis of that you got to set up this conflict which doesn't seem as organic, and that can wear on you. These are serotonin machines, these films. No matter what you think intellectually, it's very hard not to be really excited in the training montages and in the fights themselves. So let's have a bit of a conversation about something just slightly tangential to boxing films in spoilers. Okay, well, what I wanted to talk about here in spoilers is an interesting thing happens in this film. This film is, the story is incredibly predictable, and in fact kind of laughable in some ways, and like a pastiche, you could almost have shot this entire screenplay as a satire. It's ridiculously simple. So it begs the question, why do we care? I do think it's a real emblem of old school Hollywood, which is create characters that we care about, which we mainly care about from Creed 1, but sure, and Rocky from, I don't know how many films, 6, 7 films, and then put superstars in those roles. So you've got Tessa Thompson, you have Sly Stallone, you've got even Dolph Lundgren has got a lot of charisma, let alone Michael B. Jordan, who, as I said, I think is going to be the greatest star in acting. So they just kind of amp up the film and carry it along. But it is odd that you even care. And the reason why I say that is, really, if you took Michael B. Jordan out of that role, Adonis Creed is really an unlikable character. He's a real man baby. He's always whining. He's not likable. He gives up on a lot of stuff. He doesn't seem to be particularly great husband. And that's with Tessa Thompson there, who's just absolutely gorgeous and charismatic and great. Although the most laughable scene is when, and I could not believe it, in the final fight when it's in Russia and Adonis Creed comes and Bianca starts rapping. Oh, that just was horrible. That was a painful scene. So the reason why I'm setting all this up is, why aren't we going for Viktor Drago? Viktor Drago is a much more interesting story. The Dragos, all the best scenes in the film, apart from, I love the boxing and all that, but the best actual acting, dramatic scenes are all the scenes involving the Dragos. That scene when they're back in Russia and Ivan is trying to get back everything that he lost, and they bring in the trophy wife, which is the wife he lost. I can't remember the character's name, but Bridget Nielsen. It's, that's real pathos there. And really, if this was shot even slightly different, you would be going for Viktor Drago. And even the ending where Ivan values his son more than Rocky valued the machismo of Apollo Creed. So it turns out Ivan Drago is actually a bit of a hero. I found all that quite interesting about how you tell story in cinema, that despite everything I'm saying intellectually, your heart is going for Donnie Creed. You want him to win. He is being labeled the hero, and even though I knew that that wasn't working, people clapped. I clapped. You wanted him, he had the baby, and he's with Rocky. It's really interesting how that changes how you can be manipulated. And I think you need to be aware of that if you want to be an informed film goer. Look, there's not too much more to say about Creed 2. I enjoyed it at a very basic level. My son loved it. It's a perfect film for like a teenager. That's it. If you like what I'm doing, hit like. Then hit the bell so you always know when I'm doing more stuff. Spread the word if you can. And I'm on Twitter at Guru Eden, and more movie stuff coming up pretty soon.